YouTubers, it is me, Tammy D Shine, coming to you with another video. This video is about lock to hair ratio. Special request from Mr. Matthew Fitzgerald. Thank you so much for your patience and my apologies for the delay. This was my last week of, well, I've been in school. This was my last week of class. Last week was my last week of class. So I have time. I got time today, cuz. No, I'm playing. So I have time today. So basically what this video is about is, like the title says, lock to hair ratio. What that means is what it means is the size of your lock, the actual lock extension in comparison with the patch of hair that you carve out to attach the lock to. So I love your person. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Quan. So, I appreciate that. Thank you all for watching. So what this is about is lock to hair ratio, how to determine what size parts that you need to have and what size lock extensions that you want. So basically for me, how I determine it, now keep in mind I'm not a cosmetologist, what would it call, loctician or anything like that, but yes, this is still Lord and Cliff hair. The proof of your love. Yes, ma'am. This is still Lord and Cliff hair. And I'm actually, it's purple still. I'm actually going to go through and I'm going to style it myself this week. I had an appointment, but prayers up to my stylist. She had a family emergency. So, but yeah, this is still Lord and Cliff hair. Try to see that. It's still Lord and Cliff hair. Still purple. It does dye. I started off with a 4. This is now like a 27. Or 30 or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so lock to hair ratio, how to determine what size parts to have with your locks. First of all, just determine what size locks you want. I knew I wanted sort of a skinny size. For me, they're easier to manipulate and they're easier to style. And the second thing is that you need to know the density or the thickness of your own hair. I know mine naturally is sort of thick. Prior, when I had it permed, it wasn't as much, but when I let it go natural, it was thick. So you have to feel that for yourself, feel how thick your hair is. And what I do after I've determined the size of my lock, figured, you know, how dense my hair is, what I would do is I would take a section of hair, because you see that? This is my hair. So what I would do prior to installing my lock extension is take a section of hair and I would twist it. And for me to determine the lock to hair ratio, if this twist was about the same size as my lock extension, then for me, that's how I determine my lock to hair ratio. Is if you take a section of your hair and when you twist it, if it's about the same size as the lock extension you're going to install, then that's a good indication that you have the right size. And I say that because it gives it, even in its twisted form, yes, it's a little smaller, but it gives it room to grow. It's like projecting or giving it room to grow or bud, if you will. So if when you twist it, it's this small, but it still blends in with your lock extension, then you have a pretty good idea that that's a good size for your locks. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to say it again. Say like this one. When I took a section of hair, I want you to see my sections too, because I still have my parts. Still have my parts in there. See that? And in order, like I said, in order for me to determine what was a good size, I took a section of hair, kind of guesstimated initially, and then you can kind of add or take away hair after you get your initial square, but you twist it. This is what I did. I twisted it. And if in the twisting it still came out to about the same size as the lock extension that I was going to install, if that's about the same size, then I said that was a good patch, because even in its twisted form, even though it's smaller, it gives it room. It's like projection. It gives it room. Like if it starts budding, then it'll probably be about right here as opposed to being right here, if that makes sense. So when it buds, it'll probably be about this thickness. Now this is my hair. Okay, and you see how that blends in seamlessly with the lock extension. So, do another one. You see that? Again, I still got my parts. See that? I still got my parts. How many inches are my locks? Honestly, excuse me. Honestly, God, I don't really know. Maybe about 30 inches. I don't even know. Probably about, they're definitely over 20. Probably about 30 inches maybe. Because they're all different lengths. Some are shorter, some are longer. So yeah. Some are shorter, some are longer, but I'd say it's definitely over 20. I would say about 30 inches. The longest one is probably about 30 inches. So yeah, I came out the gate swinging. So again, lock to hair ratio, how to determine if your parts are the right size for your locks. Decide how did the Lord and Cliff hold up after coloring? Do you still use leave-in conditioner? Thank you for the questions. The Lord and Cliff hair held up very nicely after coloring. When I initially did my locks, when I first started doing the crochet method, it was a learning process for me. So when I did some of my locks and I colored it, some of them did kind of come apart a little bit. That's because I did not fill it in correctly. But after I got the hang of actually packing in the hair with utilizing the crochet method, now they hold up just fine. Like each lock is solid. It is solid, it's firm, and it holds up very well. Because as of late, I have been coloring. So can I style my locks? Okay. Ooh. Can I read these questions while I'm on here? Let me see. I don't know. So would you say the longer the locks is... So would you... Can I read these... Ooh. Ooh, you guys, these questions coming through. Can I read these? Let me see. Show live chat messages. Is there a way I can read these questions while y'all are sending them so I can answer them live? I'm not sure if I can or not. Oh, man. What about the Milky Way hair? Actually, I had a client send me some Milky Way hair to use. That texture is very, very soft, in my opinion, and it was a little bit more difficult for me to use. I actually had to get a smaller hook in order to utilize. I hope that didn't mess up anything. I actually had to get a smaller hook in order to manipulate that hair. God, sorry, y'all. I can't even keep up with the questions because I can't see them on this thing. Show live chat messages. I don't know how to see them. I'm going to have to do another video and answer some of the questions. I think one of them was, how did the Milky Way, or how did the hair hold up? It held up very well. It's still holding up. I'm actually going to bleach it again here in a couple days. I'm going to do my roots, and I'm going to dye my tips again purple. So overall, once I was able to perfect making the lock extension so the hair is firm, tightly compacted, yet still soft to the touch when you wash it as well, is once I got that down packed, coloring it holds up very well. So like these are all solid lock extensions. So Milky Way brand, it was a little softer. It still can be manipulated if you get maybe like a smaller hook, but it was very soft for me. God, I can't remember some of the other questions. I apologize. I'm going to have to look at the questions and make another video. But let me finish my point about the lock to hair ratio. Yes. Again, determine the size of your lock. You can judge the density of your own hair. If you take a section, twist it, and if that twisted section is about the same size as your lock extension, that's a pretty good indication that once it starts budding, that it'll grow out to match the size of that lock extension. So that's how I was able to determine mine. It was pretty much a guesstimate because I'm not a professional at this. I just installed Milk extensions. Yeah, if you just install your extensions with Milky Way, that's fine. I just hope that the hair is tightly compacted in there because it was really, really soft to the touch when I was using that hair. I liked mine a little coarser, and the Lord and Cliff it has a little bit of both of those textures. It's kind of soft. Yet, but it's still textured enough to get a good feel. Milky Way is really good. That's what I use. Okay, good. If you like Milky Way, yeah, that's great. I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it, it was really soft, but I was able to manipulate it with a smaller hook. So if you got Milky Way, kudos. There are other brands other than Lord and Cliff. There's His and Her. There's Milky Way. It just depends on your personal preference, but I prefer How do you prevent the stiffness when first getting lock extension? It feels coarse to me, holding up well so far. That's good. It's milky. For y'all who has Milky Way, somebody asked, is it able to be dyed? Let me know. I'm pretty sure it is. I believe it's human. So if Lord and Cliff can dye, then I'm pretty sure that that it probably can too. The stiffness, my locks weren't stiff when I first got them installed. If you want, you can put in leave-in conditioner. That works very well. Of course, it'll dry out. That is something that you'll have to keep doing continuously, is just put in leave-in conditioner. But my locks are not stiff. They're soft. They're flowy. Oh, somebody asked, how long can I style after an installation? If they're installed properly, you can style immediately, because they're not supposed to come out like that. Like mine are like locked in now. So you can install immediately. So I'm going to look at some of these questions and I'm going to come back to you with some responses, you guys. Thank you for watching. TTYL.